Syrian Arab Army continues operations in destroying terrorist dens. Terrorists of the Islamic State of Iraq and Asham, the proxy of Al-Qaeda, dig and destroy Islamic shrines in Al-Bab city in Aleppo countryside. And demonstrations in Darna city in Libya calling for the armed Takfiri groups to leave the city. Good afternoon, this is news in English from the Syrian Arab television in Damascus. After the big losses of the armed terrorist groups by the Syrian Arab Army in Deir Atiyah and Qala, the terrorists attacked Martaqla monastery in the archaeological town of Ma'lula in Damascus countryside. The armed terrorist groups stormed the monastery and held the head of the monastery, Pelagia Sayaf, a number of nuns and the orphans in the monastery hostages. The terrorists also terrified the citizens in the area and shot at citizens in the areas surrounding the monastery and the town's neighborhoods. Moving to Aleppo, where the Syrian Arab Army restored security and stability in the town of Tayyara to the southeastern countryside of the city, as well as the buildings of communications in Naqarin town. There were clashes with the armed terrorist gangs entrenched in the nearby areas, which separate the north and south regions. The terrorists destroyed the electric power supply lines in an attempt to cut off the electric current from the city of Aleppo. The silos in the area were looted and sabotaged. The buildings of communications was also systematically destroyed by the terrorist gangs entrenched therein. A military source said that the Syrian Arab Army eliminated an armed terrorist group, including 35 terrorists in Bustan al-Basha near As-Salam Mosque in Barzeh neighborhood in Damascus. The Syrian Arab Army continued its advance against terrorist gangs in Al-Nabak. It has moved towards the northern part of Al-Qalamun and inflicting heavy casualties on the terrorists in the farms of Rima in the area of Yabrut. The terrorists controlled Al-Qalamun hospital before the army chased them away and restored security. Doctors and medical staff at the hospital said they were subjected to crimes and bad treatment by the terrorists. The military units also restored security and safety to the international highway within a few hours. The whole area of Al-Nabak will be completely freed from the armed terrorist groups and announced a secure and safe area. The Syrian army units destroyed terrorist groups and hideouts, killing and wounding dozens of them in the quarters of the villages of Homs. A military source said that the army stormed terrorist hideouts in Bab Houd near the National Hospital and the school of Khadija al-Kubra in Al-Qusur area. Terrorist groups sustained heavy casualties in the villages of Talas and Taldaw and to the south of the graveyard, while their hideout near the municipal field and Al-Rastan were completely destroyed. Also in Homs countryside, the Syrian Arab Army stormed terrorist hideouts in the area of Psira in Palmyra and killed many of the terrorists entrenched there. They also confiscated communication equipment and Israeli-made lab rockets. After the successive defeats of the terrorists in Al-Qalamun, starting from Sadad, Mahin to Deir Atiyah and the Palmyra mountains, the Syrian Arab Army continued its advance strongly and attacked terrorist hideouts in the area of Psira, killing and wounding large numbers of them and confiscating 2 vehicles carrying machine guns, RPGs, and Israeli rockets. Terrorists of the so-called the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, who belong to Al-Qaeda, continued their vicious crimes, destroying Islamic shrines in the town of Al-Bab in Aleppo countryside.
On a videotape on the internet, this terrorist organization officially admitted that it destroyed more than 7 Islamic and Sufi shrines, mostly in Al-Bab during last October, under the pretext that these shrines contradicted Islam, according to the claims of these terrorists. The tape showed how these terrorists sabotaged the shrines, dug the graves, and destroyed the contents of these places. One of these terrorists claimed that these shrines were being worshipped. The destroyed shrines included the graves of Sheikh Aql, Sheikh Ajjan Al-Hadid, Sheikh Muhammad Nasan, and Sheikh al-Badawi in Aleppo. Those notables confronted the diabolic plots of the terrorists who burned graves. These crimes are part of the systematic terrorist attacks against such holy Islamic shrines, which included the grave of Hijr bin Adi al-Kindi, companion of Prophet Muhammad. The terrorists also fired mortar shells repeatedly against the shrine of Sayyida Zainab. They also attacked churches in Damascus and Aleppo, destroying crosses and pictures of the Virgin Mary.
A state of cautious quiet prevailed in the Lebanese town of Tripoli this morning, while the sound of bullets continued to be heard every now and then, particularly snipers fire against the international highway. Movement was almost paralyzed and shops, schools and colleges remained closed. Last night witnessed violent clashes with machine guns, rockets and mortar shells, causing the death of 9 people and the wounding of nearly 50 others. In occupied Palestine, a number of Palestinians were hit by Israeli bullets fired by the Zionist forces of occupation, which stormed the town of Abu Dis to the east of occupied Jerusalem. In Yabud, the southwest of Jenin, the Israeli forces detained 8 Palestinians after storming their houses. The Israeli armored vehicles opened fire intensively with heavy machine guns on Palestinian lands, houses and innocent citizens to the southeast of Khan Yunis in the Gaza Strip. In Libya, and in rejection of the control of Darna in the east by the armed fanatic extremists, scores of people took to the streets in angry demonstrations calling for kicking out these terrorists. They called upon the army to stop the series of murders and explosions in the city. Since the NATO invasion of the country in 2011, most Libyan cities have been suffering from chaos and armed terrorist attacks, in addition to the weak position and attitude of the new authorities in the country. As part of youth initiatives to support their country during the crisis, a bazaar was opened at Al-Jala, a sports city in Damascus.
With the aim of supporting the displaced families or those who were affected as a result of the war on Syria, a bazaar was opened at Al-Jala sports city in Damascus, and it was organized by Labbayna Nida group in cooperation with several volunteers from the public and private sectors.
The returns of this market, this charity market, will go to support other people who are affected by the Syrian crisis.
Labbayna Nida is a supporting group that was active during the crisis 2 years ago. In this market we have 3 main sections. The first section is for positive intervention in 6 food groups that every family needs. We sell them in a very low price. In the second section we have a very good quality clothes. Also we sell it in a very low price. In the third section is for the people from the civil society who are offering their handmade products.
Visitors flocked to the market to benefit from the low price offers, whether for food, clothes or even for handmade products.
Our products are 100% natural. We have branches in all governorates, offering products for hair and skin care, and also for treatment of different diseases.
We are responsible for the sheltering centers. We are the Syrian Trust for Development. Our intention is to reduce the price of many food items such as oil, rice, tea and others.
Several paintings and handmade works were also among the offers presented in the market.
I participated in the market to support our country in order to turn the movement in the market. My products are some paintings and oriental works offered at very low prices.
Part of the event was dedicated for the entertainment of children by presenting magic and interesting shows, attracting more and more visitors every day.
Actually, it's one of the very special events that I'm participating in recently. It's a massive event that the people are insane about the prices. I can see that in their look, they are really happy.
The market, which was opened on Friday, will continue until the end of the week. Responding to the country's call, this activity was held at Ajala Sports City to use its revenue for the help of the people who were affected by the war on Syria. And this is Sousan Badr for Syrian Television News in English.
A cultural event organized by the Iraqi Culture Forum and Suriana Group took place inside Damascus, the Syrian capital, held artistic and musical activities as well as some lectures about Syria and Iraq common cultural vision.
At the Iraqi Cultural Center, in cooperation with Suriana Group, an event full of art, music, culture and other activities took place inside Damascus, the capital. The participants were of different genders, background and ages. They were not just Iraqi but Syrian as well, with an interest of cultural matters shared by Syria and Iraq. Some lectures about our region from historical point of view, as well as the Syrian-Iraqi common values and visions, were given at the end of the event.
I think Syria is for all Syrian. We are Assyrian, we are Chaldean, we are Babylonian, and we are Hittite and Ghassani and Arabs. So all of us, and I forgot the Kurds, but Kurds are also in this wonderful mosaic, which is Syria. Syria has 10,000 years of age, 600 civilizations. So we have to reappropriate our history, our thought, our civilization, and to have confidence in ourselves and build our country.
Here is Iraq, but this time in Syria. This event has gathered us with one goal, one sorrow, and one purpose: to feel safe and build our country with culture. Kinda Youssef, News in English, Damascus.
And with culture we end our news for today. For more details you can visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Now stay with us after the break, the latest in economy and finance in our economic news.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The Ministry of Economy asked the government to suspend the work of the Industrial Development Programme to allocate its fund to other projects, taking into account the hard conditions of the country. As the programme was launched in 2007 in cooperation with the United Nations of Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, noting that the programme has not achieved the required development of the industrial sectors until now. The Director General of Arab medical company Tamico affirmed the increasing of the demand of the company's products, which in turn led to increase the works hours since the beginning of last month, indicating that the company has not faced any problems in terms of importing raw materials, as the strategic stockpile is sufficient in the company. The director also said that the marketing process is on progress, as the total sales value reached about 500 million Syrian pounds. The executive manager of Damascus Securities Exchange asserted that the DSE got the best performance despite the economic conditions in Syria, as the DSE index ranked first among the Arab countries, adding that the trading value and bulk increased in the current year, and the index also climbed. On the other hand, the dealings value increased 18% in the past month to reach 134.5 million Syrian pounds. The prices of crude oil advanced for a second day after China's manufacturing topped estimates in November, signaling that the world's second biggest oil consumer is sustaining its economic growth. Futures rose 0.6%. Brent for January settlement increased 69 cents to reach $110 a barrel. Most European stocks dropped following 3 months of gains as investors moved to the sidelines ahead of a batch of manufacturing data from the Eurozone due later in this session. Gold declined for the first time in 3 days, extending the worst monthly performance since June, on speculation that the Federal Reserve will begin reducing monetary stimulus. Gold for February delivery declined 0.4% to reach $1,245 an ounce. The yen fell for a fourth day against the dollar after a report showed that the manufacturing in China expanded last month, damping demand for Japan's currency as a haven. Ladies and gentlemen, this was our economic news for today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.